Have you ever wondered which Headgear Exclusive ability is best? Well, wonder no longer, cause you found a video to tell you just that. Now, before we get into it, I would like to point out that this is somewhat subjective. I've done my best to look at the math behind how each ability impacts gameplay, as well as testing them out in-game, so a bit of the placements are influenced by my own experiences with them. So if you agree or disagree with any of these rankings, feel free to let me know why in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Anyways, let's get started with number 4, Opening Gambit. This gear ability gives you the equivalent of 5 subs of swim speed, run speed, and ink resistance for the first 30 seconds of the game. You can also extend the duration of the effect by about 7.5 seconds for every splat or assist you get. This gear ability is amazing if you want to rank up in Rainmaker, as long as you aren't in X rank or the higher S pluses. Since it gives you a very nice speed boost, it's excellent for making a huge early game push, and maybe even a knockout. But wait, Vasco, didn't you say that this was basically the worst of the 4 abilities? Kind of, and here's why. Outside of using it to climb the Rainmaker ladder, this gear ability isn't very helpful in the other modes in higher ranks. Its effect is rather short, and you're kind of pressured to play aggressively in order to maintain it. The other negative is that as soon as your 30 seconds, plus any extensions you get, run out, the ability is gone for the rest of the match. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not waste my main ability on something that I can only use for the first 30 seconds of a game, and that's why Opening Gambit gets the last spot. Number 3, Lastditch Effort! Wow, Vasco, you're just speaking on the time-based abilities, huh? Kind of, but for good reasons. Lastditch Effort activates during the last 30 seconds of a match. However, if you're playing ranked, it'll also work as soon as the enemy's score drop below 30, and during overtime. Once it activates, you get the equivalent of 8 subs of Inksaver Main, Inksaver Sub, Ink Recovery, and Quick Respawn. And yes, you heard that right, 8 subs, which is basically a little over 2 mains of each. Since it gives you a ton of support on ink consumption, you can have a bunch of free chunks that you can dedicate to other abilities such as speed, specials, or self-defense. Lastditch Effort is amazing for comebacks and defensive play. If you're the type of person who carries your team, I think this is the best ability for you. If you're not, however, I wouldn't recommend this one, and here's why. While its effects are amazing, they often don't kick in until it's too late. For example, in Turf War, if your team is getting spawn camped or is in danger, 30 seconds usually isn't enough to turn the tides. Also in Ranked, even with the boost and the ink consumption, it's really hard to recover if you stop the other team moments before victory. Overall, Lastditch Effort has some very nice effects, but it's not for everyone. Number 2, Tenacity. This one's my personal favorite. Tenacity will fill your special gauge when the other team has more living players than yours. It rewards you for staying alive. And a lot of the time, that means being in a safe spot for your respawning teammates to jump back in. Also, since Tenacity will help you fill your special faster, it means you'll be able to use it more often during the match. Imagine the difference an extra Ink Storm can make in zones or an extra Stingray on tower. So why is this in the number 2 spot? Well, it's a pretty well balanced ability. But unlike the previous 2, which were time dependent, this one activates on and off as your teammates get splatted. So if your team is good, never mind. Tenacity is also a bit limited compared to the others, in that it only fills your special gauge, and doesn't provide a ton of boost to your other abilities. Overall, I think it's great if you're the type of person who likes to play support, or is very good with their special. It's also super helpful when someone in your team DCs, which happens way too often. Number 1, Comeback. This gear ability is flippin' amazing. Comeback will give you the equivalent of 1 main of Run Speed, Swim Speed, Special Charge, Inksaver Main, Inksaver Sub, and Ink Recovery for 20 seconds after respawning. It's basically a power up each time you get splatted. What I like about Comeback is that it plays on the fact that you will get splatted during a match. But if you're the type of person who likes to play support and stay back, I'd suggest you stick to Tenacity. Also, the time limit does give you a bit of pressure to get back into action. Just remember that it doesn't improve your weapon. Getting splatted over and over by jumping right in won't help you or your team. So if you aren't very skilled with your weapon, this ability might not be the best for you. Well, if this has so many conditions, why is it number 1? Good question, weird sounding Vasco. Since this ability kicks in when you respawn, that'll give you an extra edge if you're trying to stop the other team from advancing. Also, it makes getting splatted less negative, giving you a bit of permission to act a little riskier. That's what I think anyways. Which of these 4 do you think is the best? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.